everybody. Hello, it's me, Teresa. I'm streaming on YouTube, and I am streaming the process of making Tester Reborn Doll eyes. Here's one, and here's two. Now, here's the thing. I do not have the cast in raisin yet. The raisin has yet to arrive. So in the meantime, I'm taking this time to practice the actual sculpting elements of the thing. This is my 20mm doll eye mold, and I like it so far. That's not the only pair of eyes I have, by the way. I have some baking in the oven right now, and I also have a timer. You're welcome. Sorry, I just got a letter of thanks from somebody. But yeah, this is white polymer clay. I believe it's Montmartre, that's the brand, and those are the baking instructions. So what we are doing right now is that with one hand, a hand of your choice, you're just going to knead the clay till it becomes soft and somewhat flexible. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press it into the mold. Now, here's the thing about this. You can do these two at a time, but I prefer doing it one at a time for whatever reason. It's a bit more uniform. So, I'm going to press down the edges to make sure they get in there. And of course, the next step is to pop it out. You want to push from the center of the mold so then it pops out like this. I find that creates cleaner holes. Alright, and this is how it looks when it's freshly popped out. It looks a little weird, but what you can do is that you can take an X-Acto knife and clean out the edges. So, excuse me. It seems like you guys can see this pretty well, all things considering. I'm very happy and I'm very impressed with that. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to round it out a bit. Something I like to do to make sure it's rounded out really well is to take one of these balls, find a good size that matches with the hole, and then place it in and then roll it a bit. You can also press it flat a little bit. There we go. And I think that helps to create a more uniform hole, and you can continue to shape and roll as needed. We've rolled, and then we reshape. And I like that. I like that for now. So we're gonna go ahead and put it on top of this lid over here and put that to the side. I think what I'll do is that I'll just pop out multiple at a time. Sorry, my iPad is propped up in a box. I'll just need some, pop them out a few at a time, trim them off all at once, and then shape them all at once. I feel like that's pretty fair, all things considered. So now we are kneading the clay. This is a really peaceful step. I find that when you knead the clay, you can just drift off and think about things. You can close your eyes and imagine yourself kneading the stress away. I think that's a very nice and lovely thing to do. Round them. See how round those look? They don't have to be perfectly round, by the way. Just round enough. You press down, press, press, press. As for these edges, I like to press them in a bit. And press the center. Making sure that the clay is actually touching the circle in there. Press down a bit. And then we're going to go ahead and eject. 1, 2, 3. Oh, see? Look at that. That's not bad. I'll trim the edges around it later. Let's try this one. Alternating, I think. Doesn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of things, but I like to do it. It's just think it's good to alternate. Ooh. Dog. Little doggy girl. Press it in. Press down. I wonder if smoothing the bottom makes a difference. I'm sure it does. Let's smooth that bottom. Again. There we go. Oh. It seems like this will be a bit easier to trim when we're ready to do that. And then we're gonna make one more. So that's gonna give us leave us with 4 pairs of eyes. I can't help but wonder, maybe less is more when it comes to this, because that circle wasn't too big. That one basically came out pretty dang well. We're gonna reshape that center hole. There. Now let's go ahead and see if we can trim these. Here's this one. It looks really bad right now, but don't worry. We've got our little X-Acto knife. Away those rough edges. If anybody has any additional tips for sculpting eyes, I am open to criticism, constructive criticism, and it's just, you know. Man. We cleaned that one up pretty darn well, all things considering. There we go. Nice and smooth in the center. Oof. This is a little more, but it can be really finicky to work with. This one doesn't really have much to cut away at. You can get away with smoothing this out, to be honest. Let's get that in frame. Twitch. So in addition to figuring out how to stream a little frequently on Twitch, I don't mind doing YouTube streams. What I want to do is figure out a way to build a platform. And I know that sculpting tutorials would be nice. I can get better at editing videos. But I really, really do like the interactive concept of streaming. It's fun. It's a little fresh. And I don't know, I just prefer it. Let's give this work. Okay. Those are our two sets for now. And I have this going in that convection oven over there. Uh-oh. I think I need to pop the lid. It's getting a bit too hot for this. Jesus, that's basically over 300 degrees. That's a bit too hot. But you know what? That's fine. I do want to say that after I bake these shells, I do have colored clay that I put in them. So I'm going to show you some examples of the colored clay that I made using this white clay and, of course, mica powder. I will say that it does take quite a bit of mica powder in order to get the desired coloring effect, especially for black. You do have to go over it with a bit of a paintbrush for additional detailing, but when you mix the the polymer clay in with the mica powder, you can get some really pretty colors. This is pretty tricky to tell, but that's blue. Isn't that a gorgeous iridescent shade of blue? Here, hopefully you can tell that a lot better over there. It kind of shimmers. Oops. I'll put that one away. I'll probably do another stream sooner rather than later after I get a bunch of these shells done as to how I actually make and design the eyes. There's a tutorial that I found that I might link to later. That's a coppery brown that shows a really good way on how to do it, but they use UV resin and I ordered air dry resin that's not here yet. Oh, that's a shimmery, more of a golden shimmer color, a golden brown. Also, it does take quite a bit of mica powder, so sometimes what I do is that I knead in a bit of mica powder, and then I'll just dump it into powder, and I'll dust it. So, if you just mix in mica powder, expecting to get something really shimmery and shiny, that's probably not what you're going to get. But that's green. That's a dark green and a lighter green. And of course, this is... No, little girl. Sorry, my dog knows that my baby brother is home. And this is the black. Now, the thing is, it looks more like a gray. It's really hard to get a dark color for like polymer clay using mica powder. But what I do is that I will take the black mica powder, dip a brush in, a fine tip brush, and then put some additional powdering on top of it in order to make it look extra black before I put them in the bake. And that's how you basically get that effect, that pupil effect. It does take a couple of bakes. Needless to say, I kind of like pressing the pupil in with the ball as opposed to having the pupil raised. I think that gives it a more wide pupil look, which is what you need for less reborn dolls. In any case, it's been roughly 15 minutes. And the truth is that these are probably going to be done relatively soon. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here for now. And when we come back, I'll hopefully have more of these made and baked so then I can show you how I do the eye detailing. Thank you so much for watching this stream, or at least for watching the VOD. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye! Have a wonderful day!